Welcome to Positively Muskegon. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am up in Whitehall. I am at the Lebanon Lutheran Church. This is Doug Ogden. He's the pastor up here. And I came up today on the invite of a little bird told me that there were some good things going on up here in Whitehall. Yeah, pretty good bird, yeah. And probably a good time to get up here and visit Doug. And first of all, thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us today. We got a nice fire going here.
Thanks for coming all the way up to Whitehall.
Oh yeah, it's such a drive, right? People can't get over that. They think Whitehall's so far away.
I often say it's a lot further from Muskegon to Whitehall than it is from Whitehall to Muskegon.
I just don't know. It's our neighborhood, man. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Tell me about the Lebanon Lutheran Church. As I'm grew up Catholic, tell me what I would expect if I were to come to Lebanon.
Okay, well, Lutherans grew up Catholic too.
Did they? Okay.
600 years ago, 500 years ago. The deal is that this congregation was founded by Swedes who settled here in the lumber industry, and they were really into liturgy and music and community involvement. Okay. And that has continued here for 146 years. Wow. So the biggest thing that people notice about the social involvement here would be the food pantry.
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
And there's a lot. Is it a big parish? Do you have a...
It's a small parish.
Okay.
It's a small congregation. There aren't a lot of Swedes.
Right.
And Lutherans are not the hottest type of sliced bread out there anymore. No. But it is probably the most socially active congregation. In fact, I wouldn't dare say this on camera, but we probably are the you probably could add all of the social outreach projects of all of their congregations in the White Lake area, and we do more than all of them combined.
That's an important
just because
part.
That's our thing.
That's an important part of it.
There are other congregations that have larger youth ministries or things like that, but the social and community involvement, that's our thing.
Talk about what inspires that. I mean, because when I go around and I go all over the county and we do these stories, and we know the need is there in the Heights. We know the need is there in Muskegon. We know the need is, and it's just, everybody assumes that those needs are in those inner city things and stuff like that. But you come up to Whitehall, and everything's flowers and everything's beautiful, but it's not always the case.
Well, it's not always the case. As a matter of fact, poverty in this area is kind of hidden. Yeah. We have Section 8 housing. Yeah. You can drive around and you can start to see some houses that haven't had maintenance in 25, 35, 50 years because people are what I call land poor. Yeah. They own a really nice house, but they haven't been able to afford to maintain it. You get out of the city and all of a sudden you're in rural. And you'll see trailers, you'll see pockets of poverty, and the schools know this because they bring them all together, and you see what the poverty rates are. And not just poverty, but difficulties, social or personal difficulties that have led people to just have a really hard time with life. And this community, this congregation came into existence in order to take care of immigrants, to take care of folks who weren't ethnically English, and that has just continued.
So here it is, 147 years later.
Yes, it is.
How about
doing
that?
well. Doing well.
Talk today about, I mean, because it's extensive, the amount of outreach you guys do. Yeah. Talk about, I mean, and I know you do Taco Tuesdays, which who doesn't love tacos, right? Right. So let's go through some of the bullet points.
Okay, well, the biggest one would be the food pantry, or at least the most noticeable would be the food pantry, and that came about when the area churches got together and said, you know what poor people are doing is they're calling us up, or they're driving over to our church and they're getting a little bit of food here, and then they'll drive to another place and they might get a little food here. What would happen if we had one place that could provide a week's worth of groceries, and we would all contribute?
Everything
into
goes
it.
there.
And Lebanon had a food pantry that was going at the time, and so we became the site. We dedicated the floor space to it, and we've been going now for about 14 years.
Is that right?
Serving anywhere from 50 to 100 families a week.
They come here for their groceries.
They come here for their groceries. Congregations and agencies and the schools refer people here. We also start off each morning with a hot breakfast, and there's two things about that. One is it gets people together so we know who they are. It used to be that we'd get a phone call and somebody would say, you got a family of 5 coming, have groceries ready, and we'd have them ready, we'd hand them to them before they even got out of the car. We didn't know who they were, what the situation was, so we started having this breakfast, and now we know who they are, they know who each other are, we trade stories, we can provide support beyond food.
A little fellowship.
I often say that it's 51% about the food and 49% about the relationship. The other reason we started doing the breakfast is we went down to America's Second Harvest to get our groceries, and I found a bag of pureed egg that was about 2 feet long, and it looked like a giant lava lamp. And I said, what in the world would anybody do with this?
Right.
And then we looked around, and we were buying meat, and we were buying bread, and they had eggs. And all of a sudden, it was like we could get people together and start off with hot breakfast. And sometimes it's the only hot meal that folks get.
And you do that every day?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, okay.
Every Wednesday, once a week, we're open. We do that breakfast. And nearly all of the work for our food pantry is done by clients of the food pantry.
Yeah, right.
And I'm really happy about that.
That's a great thing.
The second thing in the community that we would be known for is the back to school event, and that's every summer when we give away 300 backpacks, 300 sets of school supplies. We invite every community resource agency we can in the county. We spread out all over the parking lot and the grass, and there's a calliope playing, and it's just a carnival midway atmosphere, which is something that poor people don't often get when they're in the middle of a charity event.
Yeah.
We try and turn it into something that makes you feel like you're glad you came, and that also has food. Churches do a lot with food. That backpack evening, which is
stands to reason.
in August.
I mean, loaves, fishes, all that other
It's
stuff.
exactly where it comes from, man. It's Eucharist all the way. But it's hot dogs, chips, lemonade.
Sure.
We have all that night as well. And all the area churches are invited to come, tell people about their church, tell people about their youth ministry. We want as many churches and organizations to be involved. And sometimes I get looks like you're inviting other churches to your church to come tell. 47% of Muskegon County went absolutely nowhere to worship last week.
Right.
We are not competing with anybody.
Right.
So come, tell people about your church. Bring something that we can give away to folks that are coming. So that's the second one. The Taco Tuesdays that you referred to, we started this a number of years ago, that every time we baptize a baby, we have some sort of fun event where we can raise $250, put it in a sock that's earning interest, and when that child is older, high school, college, something like, they have the seed money for a global mission experience.
Cool.
And we've done that now, this is like the 6th time, was the one we just had. So there are 6, we guarantee that all of our kids will have a global mission experience. That's important.
Yes.
But we just found out that it's a lot easier to raise $250 per baby than it is $1,000 per teenager.
Right.
And this is like a promissory note. We promise that we will make sure that you have a global mission experience. And so that money is sitting in a sock. It's not. It's sitting in a savings bond, waiting to earn interest. And they get a global mission experience. So we just had the Taco Tuesday events. During the season of Lent, we're raising these kits for foster care kids that come through Samaritas, which is also Lutheran Social Services, the largest foster care network in the state. And we're raising, we're collecting the items that go into these kits. It'll be a towel, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, comb, nail clippers, so that when these kids come into the foster care system, and they often come in with absolutely nothing, the first thing they get is what they need to feel clean and feel like they're home.
Take care of themselves.
So we're raising those now. 60 to 80 of those we'll have put together by Easter.
Wow.
And every Wednesday when people come to worship, they bring 1 week towels. Then the next week they bring toothbrushes, and that'll go all the way through Lent, and that's kind of our Lenten discipline.
Great way to do things.
It makes it fun.
And you know, when you stretch it out over a few weeks too, it's not that big of an impact.
No, and you can see it grow.
Right.
And we try and involve all the different organizations that use this building.
Right.
We are the home to the White Lake AA group. We are the home to the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts, the Venture Crew. The Girl Scout troops are meeting here. So we try and involve all of those groups in doing these projects, because it isn't just us.
Yeah.
It's helping the community do some of the things that we care about.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
So those are some of the things that we have going on, and we want to involve as many people so we keep them going.
If they need a hand, where do they start? Do they have to go to an agency? Do they stop in? How does it?
That's just it. No, you just come.
Okay.
And we've never run out of stuff. We do get referrals from Love Inc., from Mission Fair area people, but because we're so close to the county line, those county agencies are limited to their county.
Mm-hmm.
So for the breakfast, come at 8:30, have breakfast, take as many groceries as you think you need for a week. For the backpack event, it's self-reported. If you think you're financially in need for that, come. We got 300.
Honor system.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know that people in need, and you know, you meet a lot of people when you do what I do.
Yeah.
And the people that are genuinely in need are generally not the ones that are going to take more than they.
And I have no stories of us being taken advantage of.
Right, right.
As the head of Gleaners used to say a long time, there's no drug dealer that accepts canned goods.
Right, right.
So we trust the honor system, we trust our neighbors, and we work really hard to get to know who people are.
Yeah.
So we have a sense of what's going on in life.
So it's great stuff.
That's what we're doing.
What do you want to leave us with?
Well, support your local Lutheran church.
Well, of
We
course.
accept donations
Right.
for all of these programs.
So if somebody wanted to make a food pantry donation, they could stop in.
You can stop in.
Non-perishables, all that
You
stuff.
can use our website, which has a PayPal link.
We'll put a link right here.
We have credit card access for donations. And I tell you what, not a week goes by, but we don't get some surprise donation. It'll be a check in the mail. It'll be a family that says for their birthday party, they didn't want to have presents. They gathered canned goods and
Yeah.
they bring them in and put them on the shelves. Not a week goes by where something like that
It's great to see
doesn't
miracles
happen.
happen
So,
like that, isn't it?
I'm just really grateful that we can keep doing this, and it's something that I love to do, and it's something that the community really supports. I'm humbled by that.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah. So thank you.
I wish you the best. It's right up here in the White Lake area. Stop into the Lebanon Lutheran Church. If you're hungry, they'll take care of you. If you need a little direction. By the way, I read your sermon yesterday, too. Or
Oh,
at least
wow.
a rough draft of it.
That was the final. What you saw was the final.
That was the final?
Yep, I kept changing it on Facebook.
I'm on
so-
board. We're never going to win that argument, but
Thank you.
we'll find you a link to his Facebook page as well.
Yeah,
and
thank
you
you.
can read the sermon as well. Doug Ogden, thank you so much for your time. Lebanon Lutheran Church up here in Whitehall. If you're looking for a little direction, if you're looking for something to eat, or if you're looking for a little help, they've really got it going on up here in the White Lake area. All the links are right here on Positively Muskegon.
Thank you.